I couldn't pass on this barn find. Boy, have I told my wife that a few times. I mean, it's perfect. What an amazing story. That might be the story of my day. She needs to sell her home where the car has been garaged for 80 years. Hi, it's Tom Cotter. Welcome to Barn Find Hunter's new reaction series, where instead of stumbling through barns and forests and fields to find old cars, I'm actually looking at photographs and videos that you've submitted to the forum. So if you'd like to submit cars that you've found, trucks, maybe even motorcycles, to the Barn Find Hunter reaction series, just follow the link on the description below. Man, we've got a bunch of submissions, so let's just get into it. So we have a submission here from Doug's Cars, and I'm going to read his submission here. We heard about 3 80s and 90s Rover classics that have been sitting in a field for over a decade. They were purchased sight unseen. We went and checked them out, had them towed to the shop, and had 2 of them running by that evening. So there are many more videos of the cars actually running. Trips to the Outer Banks, off-roading adventures at the Mid-Atlantic Rally, and more. But if he bought 3 of them sight unseen and got 2 of them running within one day. That's amazing. Doug says here also that he's a former Long Island boy. Well, me too. I gotta say, I'm new at the whole Range Rover thing. I know guys have been putting LS motors in them, but if they run the first day you get them, you don't have to have an LS motor to have fun. You know, interestingly, these Range Rovers have V8 motors that are just derivatives of a GM built motor back in the early 60s, and they used them for a couple of years, and then they sold the patent rights off to British Leyland or British Motor Cars. And that motor wound up having new lives in Range Rovers and TR8 Triumphs and GT V8s, and, you know, I think maybe even some Jaguars and Daimlers. Real good motor, and you know, it has a lot of hot rod potential. So anyway, we're seeing a little bit of Detroit when I look at these Range Rovers that Doug has found. So I have a submission here from K-Folk. Let me see, he says here that these are a couple of barn finds in my yard. So the first one is a GTI, I would say 86 maybe. It's probably an 8 valve because I don't see a little 16 valve emblem on the grill. I gotta tell you something, K-Folk. I have that exact car in my garage that I bought new in 86, only mine's white. A great family car for a long time before I just parked it. And then a Cadillac hearse. Now, having grown up on Long Island, we all thought we were like surfer guys and stuff, and I had friends that bought hearses for very little money and made them into surf wagons. So we have a submission here from AJS. Please, if you're going to submit something, photographs, please write a description that I can read, because I'd like to know more, and everybody watching this video would like to know more as well. It looks like these 2 cars were sitting under some kind of roof, some kind of covered parking area, and it's an intriguing find, but I wish I knew more. It's an MG TD 51 or so, and an XK 140 drop head coupe Jaguar. So here's one from D. Hayer, who is from southern British Columbia, Canada. Hey, Hoser. Okay, so and he submitted a video of the Toyota FJ40 that he found. What does it say here? I found this 75 Toyota FJ40 in a shed. It was parked there in '92 by the second owner. He was happy to sell it. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna watch this video. Thanks, D. Hayer, for doing that. Wow, music.
Welcome to the garage. I'm going to do a quick walk around on the FJ40. I've got a few little how-to videos so far, but now I'll do a bit more of a thorough, detailed overview of the truck here. Okay, top and doors are off. I can give you a way better look at this thing. First, a bit of background on it, I guess. Once I started digging into the vehicle, I found out why he parked it. Basically, it was only running on 5 cylinders, a hole in one of the valves. And actually, after sitting that long, a bunch of the rings were broken. So I did get it running by putting in new points and stuff. I got it to flash up, but it's pretty cool when you're going through the documentation that this vehicle comes with, and you find receipts for every single purchase, every oil change, spark plugs, air filter. Even had all the original owner's manuals, registration.
Yeah, I just want to comment here for a second that he, like I, love to find the documentation when you find a car. I mean, there's nothing like looking in a glove box or a console in the trunk and finding paperwork, even stuff like, you know, tune-up, valve job, tire change, inspection, because it just gives you a little bit of a history that you can start building on the car. It's like when you cut a tree and you can look at the rings on a tree and tell, oh, there was a fire this year and whatever. It's the same thing with a car. When you can find this documentation, it just adds, you know, character to the barn find you just found. It works out great. Well, D. Hayer, if I ever get up to Canada, I'd like to look you up because, you know, I like your Toyota, I like your find. I like the video you put together, documentation. We're on the same page, man. So here's one from Hardware 44. Hi, I mentioned this guy to Tom a couple of years ago, but he didn't follow up on it. Well, I can't be everywhere all the time, sorry. I have a friend who's got close to 100 collector cars, mostly older US cars, but some European cars as well, in 3 separate locations near Winchester, Virginia. I know Winchester well. I stay there in the Hampton Inn a lot. Exit 313? 313. Okay, he's got 2 remote warehouses plus this big building here. Cars are 5 wide and 10 deep. And I'm looking at them. Okay, there's a Mercedes Ponton. Looks like a Studebaker. An Oldsmobile, but it's got a split windshield. I'm not quite sure about that. But then there are rows of Hemi engines and like bug-eyed sprites and MG midgets. Like somebody has as an eclectic a taste as I do, because I like all those things. Man, I think I need to visit that place firsthand. One place that has me intrigued here is from Doc 68, and this is intriguing. Ever since I could walk, I've been into automobiles and aircraft. I could wander around trying to find rusty relics around India. And after coming across the Barn Find Hunter series, I've been religiously going around documenting these vehicles. This is intriguing to me because I've always wanted to visit a place like India to find cars. So these cars are mostly American, Australian, and other European market imports pre-1975 that were abandoned and neglected in obscure locations. This is intriguing. So, all right, it looks like maybe a Ford Cortina is the first one, a Toyota FJ with a chain going through the body, keep attaching it to a pole so it wouldn't get stolen, I guess. Here's a Buick Skylark in India, and here's a RS Camaro, I'd say 67, 68, I guess. Retractable headlights with stripes on it. A 51 Mercury, it looks like a 33 Ford Roadster. A early 1950s Mercedes-Benz sedan. This is amazing. I'm intrigued with barn finds in other countries, you know. So here's one from Matt Jackson, who goes by the name, I love this, Longboard Love. So I guess he's a surfer, or wants to be a surfer. And he found a Volkswagen bus, curved windshield, 1978, that was parked for 27 years. It looks pretty rough. I'm gonna watch this video here and see what it says. I wonder where this is. So they were serious because they brought rakes and shovels to clean the crap around it, and even had a bobcat. I've never brought a bobcat to a Barn Find Hunter discovery, but I think I will.
Release the pigeon. Clear. Clear. Not clear. Yep.
Hey, welcome to VW Life, and we've got a little rescue today, don't we?
Yeah, Matt Jackson, this is a big one. We're going to go find a 78 Westie out in the woods.
So they get ready to pick up a Westphalia camper, but I'm looking in the garage over his shoulder. He's got a few Volkswagen buses that he hasn't identified yet in his own garage, so he's serious. Nicely produced piece, by the way.
This was what you call an RV.
That's what you call, that there's what you call an RV, Clark. Now don't you go falling
in love with it now, because we're taking it with us when we leave here next month.
So I'm amazed. They're cleaning, you know, old clothes and just trash, raking it out of the way. Somehow they got a bobcat. I don't know where that comes from. Like it's a part of their Barn Find Hunter toolbox. And they're jacking it up, and I guess they're putting tires on that have air in them. I do this more often than you guys can imagine, like, you know, helping people drag home barn finds. I just brought home a Datsun 510 recently. You know, getting this car with 4 very flat tires. They weren't just a little bit flat, but they were like rubber falling off the rim. Just did it. I do it all the time.
We need a winch.
Jake, it's halfway up the ramp.
That one drove home though. True.
One thing I wondered about, they said, it's got a fuel-injected engine. That's good, I guess. But they said it has an automatic, which is good. I'm wondering why they think that. To me, it's just one more complication. You've got to dive down into a complicated transmission if you have a problem. Whereas if it's a manual gearbox, it's a lot easier. Well, let me say this. Longboard love, you guys did it right. I mean, you found a cool vehicle and you detailed excavating that thing out of the junk pile it was in all the way to your house. You narrated it well, the music's cool. Good job. In fact, maybe I should be nervous. Maybe you're gonna take over the whole Barn Find Hunter franchise. But I look forward to future videos of you, what you do with that bus. Nice job. That's it for this edition of Barn Find Hunter, the new reaction series. If you'd like a chance to be featured in one of these series, send your photo and your story, your videos to the Hagerty Community page. And as always, get permission from the person whose car you're shooting. You don't want to, kind of be shooting pictures of a car and the police pull up and take you away, because it ain't good. Make sure you click or subscribe and hit the bell notification so you won't miss a single episode. Happy hunting.
We got all this to move. We got this trailer that's broken down. We close the deal. We're taking one home with us.
That's the plan, man, Jack.
Are you excited?
Oh, I know how much work is going to go into this. Man, I hope people are like when they